fans, and welcome to another great roller derby game coming your way from the Cow Palace in San Francisco. Jam-packed 14,000 howling fans. This is your sportcaster, Walt Harris, along with Ken Nidell, to bring you all the color description of this exciting game. Moving now into the second half of play with a score of 13-10. The Westerners in the light jerseys lead the Bombers in the dark jerseys by 3 big points. 4 periods in each half. Each period of 12 minutes duration, so we have 4 exciting periods to go in this game. Coming up on the rear of the pack, your lead jammer, Big Red Jensen, 38 from the Bomber squad. Right behind her, Dolores Doss, 51 of the Westerners. Loretta Barron's up there blocking out Annis Jensen. Doss grabs the lead, being blocked out by Jan Vallow, the Rookie of the Year. There's Vallow with another block as Doss trying to move by for a point. If Doss, a jammer in the striped helmet, would get by Vallow, she'd chalk up a point, and there she goes for 1 point. Barron's going for another block. Loretta Barron's leading the way. Loretta Barron's with another block. She's got 2 points now. There's Doss getting the whip. Vallow in there has been passed, but she's back in blocking position. The passing her again does not chalk up another point. Dolores Doss, in motion of the hands on the hips, calls off the jam after scoring 2 points. That's because the jammer for the Bombers was moving into the scoring position and might possibly get a point. Before the jammer could get a point, Doss of the Westerners, who had scored 2 points, called it off. So that makes the score now 15-10. The Westerners leading the Bombers. Dolores Doss, Ken Nidell working with us tonight from New York City, the East Coast voice of the roller derby and an outstanding sportcaster. Probably give us a lot of color about this girl, Dolores Doss.
Well, Dolores is from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She's been around the roller derby leagues for some 10 years. Her first team in roller derby after getting out of the training school was the Philadelphia Panthers out of Philadelphia, and she is one of the most improved skaters in the last 4 years. A real good head on that bank track to have in anybody's lineup, believe me, Walt. And they're bunching up, getting ready to spin out, and they are spinning, and here's Walt Harris.
Joanne Coons, number 52, moving out for the Westerners. She's wearing the striped helmet. That's the mark of the jammer. A team is made up of 5 skaters on the track at a time, 3 blockers and 2 jammers. Your jammers are your offensive skaters, and here comes the jammer for the Bombers, Big Red Jensen, 38. She's signaled by the officials for something. A 2-minute penalty. Probably pulled her way out of that pack. So Big Red will go to the penalty box. That means your team will be 1 member short. You cannot substitute for a penalized skater. Bombers skating with just 4 skaters on the track at the moment. Coming up on the back, with the pigtail flying, 52, Joanne Coon. She's in scoring position. As she closes down, a beautiful block set up in there. 3 big points. You saw that on your screen. The entire Westerner squad had pushed the 3 skaters left in the pack of the Bombers up against the rail. Joanne Coons moved by on the low side for 3 big points. Runs that score up to 18-10. The Westerners lead the Bombers by 8 big points. If you're new to roller derby, Ken Nidell will bring you up to date on some of the rules so you can follow this game with us.
Well, to add to what Walt told you a little bit ago, there are 5 players on the track at one time. Only those in the striped helmet can score. Those are offensive players. Remember, all the other players with the solid colored helmets are offensive and defensive blockers. Now, you'll notice that in the back of the pack, if you're viewing for the first time, those with the stripes have to start from the back and break all the way around and come through that pack and get out on a jam. A jam is an effort to score. They must circle the track, come up back of the pack from where they started and pass members of the opposition. Now, here we've got a girl with a stripe. We've got another one with a stripe, and we've got one with a plain helmet, Barron's. And now Walt Harris to give you the action.
Judy Sawinski being blocked out by Loretta Barron's. Barron's doing the blocking job while her jammer gets out and builds up a lead. Her jammer in this case is Margaret Brady, 56, out and moving on this play for the Westerners, who have an 8-point bulge. 7 minutes and 56 seconds to go here in the first period in the last half. 4 periods in each half, each period of 12 minutes duration. Once the jammer is out of that pack, 90 seconds starts to tick off, and the jammer has 90 seconds with to circle the track, catch the pack, and then for each member of the opposing team she passes, she will get a point. Here comes your jammer, Margaret Brady, 56. She is the only girl in scoring position, wearing the striped helmet. Jan Vallow with a block, 35. Vallow with another block as Brady's trying to move around on the outside. There's Vallow with another block and another block. Brady high on the rail, trying to get past for a point. If she get past for this point, she'd try for more. Vallow still doing the blocking job. There's Jan with another block. Another block with 20 seconds remaining on this jam. Jan Vallow, the number 1 blocking role for the Bombers on this play. That number 1 blocking role, of course, is right there at the rear of the pack. You try and stop the jammers from the other team from scoring. Jan Vallow doing the job, 35 for the Bombers. Brady still trying to move by. About 5 seconds remaining on this jam. Time is running out on Margaret Brady. There's There's the whistle. 90 seconds has gone by. No score on that jam, so it remains the Westerners 18 and the Bombers 10. Timeout has been called on the track with the score. The Westerners 18, the Bombers 10. Time has been called in. The skaters are coming back to the track. It's Walt Harris and Ken Nidell at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. The second half of play has just gotten underway. 6 minutes and 23 seconds to go here in the first period in the last half. The official attendance announcing tonight, 14,648 paid admissions. Another tremendous crowd enjoying this game between the Westerners and the Bombers. The Bombers in the dark jerseys, the Westerners in the light jerseys. Your jammers working their way up from the rear of the pack and getting out of there. Joanne Coons, 52 for the Westerners. Jan Vallow, 35, now wearing a jammer's helmet, out and moving for the Bombers. Both teams with one jammer out on this play. Another penalty being called. This one on Dolores Doss, 51. She will go to the penalty box for 2 minutes. Meanwhile, the penalty time is up on Annis Jensen, and she is back on the track. So the Bombers have 5 skaters out there. Now the Westerners with just 4 skaters on the track. There are your leading jammers. Jan Vallow with a block moves ahead of Joanne Coons, 52. Jan Vallow last year voted the Rookie of the Year in the Roller Derby League. She's made tremendous strides. She promises to be one of the all-time greats. There's Dolores Doss, a good-looking girl, going to the penalty box for 2 minutes. We have about 35 seconds remaining on this jam. All 4 jammers are out and moving. There's Roberta Mitchell coming into the picture for the Bombers. Also in there for the Westerners is Ann Bauer, 57. Grabbing the lead, Joanne Coons, 52. The jammers jockeying for that key position. A jammer does not have to have the lead in order to score. But if you do have the lead, you can call off the jam. That's something the other jammers cannot do. Joanne Coons moving on the pack now. Loretta Behrens, 54, the number 1 blocking role for the Westerners. Big Red Jensen, 38, back there for the Bombers. Watch Joanne Coons, 52, trying to move by 38, Annis Jensen. Time is running out on this play as she makes her move. Real hard block by Annis Jensen, and Joanne Coons really hit the deck as the 90 seconds came to a close. No score on that play. It remains the Westerners 18 and the Bombers 10.
Walt, it almost happened at the same time, but that big roar in the background was not the player falling after the block. Somebody is shooting off the little fireworks here with this tremendous crowd at the Cow Palace in San Francisco because they're partial to this Bomber team, and of course the Westerners have a lot of fans here too, and it's an exciting game all the way down the line. We got a lot of action coming up, and from time to time, as Walt told you, we will be bringing you more of the rules, and then I want to make a special announcement sometime during the game about the rules and regulations and how you can get a copy of rules and regulations of roller derby from your favorite station. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. All right, Walt.
Thanks a lot, Ken, and back to the action. Even though that loud noise wasn't the skater falling, when these girls throw blocks at speeds up to 35 miles an hour, they really bounce. Moving out and moving fast is Dolores Doss, now back in the game as her penalty time is up. 3.5 minutes to go here in the first period in the last half. You could get a quick glimpse of Bill Areno, the coach of the Bombers, down there, whacking his jammers on, urging them to greater speed as Dolores Doss has the big lead. There's Jan Vallow and Roberta Mitchell jamming for the Bombers, but they trail Dolores Doss by about a quarter of a lap. She will catch them back before they get up, and at the rear of the pack, there's some heavy blocking going on. And a Jensen dumps the skater. Loretta Behrens, 54, on the deck. There's Erwin Sachs, the infield coach of the Westerners, out to pick Loretta Behrens up. Well, that jam ended. The reason that jam ended, it had to be called off by Dolores Doss, who had a big lead. Because Loretta Behrens being dumped on the track, the jammers coming up for the Bombers behind Doss would have passed her, and it would be just like shooting sitting ducks. Each one would have scored a point. So in order to protect her fallen teammate, Doss, with the lead, called off that jam. There's Jan Vallow, who was out of that jam. She was the Rookie of the Year last year, and as you can see, she's a very good-looking girl, right, Ken?
Oh, she is, and man, she loves that gum. You see her chewing that gum out there? You know, I imagine, and you and I have talked a lot about conditioning in roller derby, and of course, good conditioning in any sport is essential But I imagine that most of the skaters out there chew gum. I think it has something to do with helping their breathing and keeping moisture and refreshing taste in their mouth, because it gets awful dry out there. It's got to.
Well, it just helps relieve the tension a lot, too, Ken, because this is a tremendously exciting sport with action all the time. Skaters constantly under pressure. Judy Sawinski, 37, breaking away for the Bombers. Jan Vallow out of there, but being blocked out by Joanne Coons, 52. Dolores Doss, a blocker, moving out of the pack. As a blocker, she cannot score. She cannot call off a jam, but she can go out and slow down the jammers on the other squad, and that's what Dolores Doss is trying to do with Jan Vallow. Annis Jensen moves into the picture. Jensen also a blocker. He's out there to try and shake Jan Vallow loose, but Vallow being blocked out again by Doss. There's Jensen with the block, and Vallow will move out. There are your lead jammers. Judy Sawinski, 37. Joanne Coons, 52. Judy Sawinski is just 19 years of age in her first year of the roller derby. She hails from Chicago. Jamming with her, Joanne Coons, 52 for the Westerners. Joanne is 24. She hails from Los Angeles, and she's had 5 years of experience, and there she threw a hard block at Judy. 18-10 the score. The Westerners in front by 8 big points with 1:10 to go in this period. Sawinski down. Hard block by Joanne Coons, is moving on the back now. Jan Vallow moving up on Joanne Coons. Loretta Behrens, 54 to block out Vallow. Jensen dumps Coons, and Jensen is moving to put a block on Behrens. Watch the action now. Watch 35. She's in scoring position. Jensen moving on Behrens. There's Jensen's block, and a point is scored. There's another block, and a point is scored. 2 points have been scored by Vallow. Vallow moving for more. He has 2 points. There's Judy Sawinski missing a block on Dawson. Time is running out. Dawson the block puts Vallow in the track just as that period comes to an end. That jam period. 2 points were scored by Jan Vallow. Makes the score 18-12 with 20 seconds remaining in this period. We'll have the changeover coming up with the men coming onto the track. While we're getting ready for the changeover, Ken, you might come through with some of those rules again.
Well, I would like to say this, Walt. Wherever you're viewing your favorite television show, the roller derby, remember to write to your favorite station carrying roller derby for information on how you can receive a copy of the rules and regulations. If you would like to have a copy, I'm sure your local station can help you. So you fans that want more dope on the rules of roller derby, your favorite sport, write to your favorite television station that has the roller derby, and they will tell you how you can get a copy of the rules and regulations. Because Walt and I can point out all these things, but if you're viewing for the first time, it'll take you just a little bit to catch on, and when you do, they know as much. A lot of our fans know as much as you and I do.
Probably a lot more, Ken. I've had letters from fans, and they certainly know more about the skaters than I do. They know every facet of the way. The score is the Westerners 21, the Bombers 15. Getting ready now to move into the third period with the girls coming onto the track. Ken Nidell, how about describing the changeover?
Well, the changeover is a very pretty part of roller derby. The men will contact the girls will take over. There's a good picture of Karen Alsop in the front of the Westerner pack. But while we have this time to talk about